Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for bringing each and every one of us here safely, Kia kua. And we ask that you take us back home to our destination safe as well. Kia kua, we ask that you dwell within the conversations of this meeting, Kia kua. Bless our leaders as they are here to continue on to uplift our kaya ulu of Lahaina. Kia kua, we ask that you bless our kupuna who is here, our makua and all of our keiki of Lahaina, as well as kula and maui, maui nui. Kia kua, we thank you for your blessings. I mau aku ka loko mai ka i o ka haku Yesu Christo me ke aloha o kia kua. A me ka launa puana ka uhane, he malele me ka ko a pau. In your precious Son's name, Jesus Christ, we give you all glory and all honor is yours. Amen.
Mahalo, Maka. Well, welcome back. It's been, we took a break for 2 weeks and we're back here and back to reminding everyone to use 211 if you need to access the disaster case management help. Through this process, you'll be connected to a person through that program. You will be walked through a bunch of questions, just a wellness check, make sure that things are well, you know, what questions they'll ask you. You should know the answer, just answer them honestly, and then you'll get assigned a caseworker and go through that process. So again, as always, we encourage you to call 211. And we always encourage all of us to look out for each other. Please take care of yourself and look out for each other. You can scan this code. All of our slides are on mauirecovers.org. It's also posted in a separate post on our Facebook page. But please use this code to seek out all the resources available if you need some support at any time. And this is for everyone and anyone. Just a few announcements before we get through with our agenda. I bring up Mayor Bisson here. Just a reminder that on Thursday, September 26th, we try to do this for the last week of every month. So we generally have about 200 to 300 folks tune in online. But September 26th, here's your QR code to ask your questions and to register. Again, this is on a separate Facebook page or on mauirecovers.org on the set of slides. But this is going to be a very good meeting, as they all are. At this meeting on September 26th, you'll get guidance on the SMA exemption process, updates to our wastewater system. Hawaiian Electric will be participating in this webinar to talk about restoring power to properties, that process, the procedures. What do you do if you're a property owner? Small Business Association, our friends on the federal level, will be available to talk about loans for homeowners and the process for reconsideration through their SBA programs. And the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety will also be at this webinar. So these webinars are excellent for homeowners. If you have attended them in the past, we have a number of mayor's cabinet members, President Well, department heads will be there or be online. If you are a homeowner in the rebuild process, please give us your feedback on your homeowner's insurance. We have heard many stories at many of these meetings and on separate occasions and beyond our county hosted meetings, but we want your feedback collected in one manner. So we're asking you to go to mauirecovers.org/Lahaina, look for the survey, and complete the survey. What's going to happen with all of the input we receive is it's going to be looked at the county and the state level so that we can offer our state legislators some input and they can take that input and consider legislation to propose. And I do want to acknowledge your state representative here tonight, Angus McKelvey, within the audience here. But this is going to help us consolidate everything. So please take a look at this and go to mauirecovers.org/Lahaina and take that survey on homeowners insurance. And if you go to mauirecovers.org at Lahaina, you can also see a compiled report on community engagement. This will give you the entire work that we have done over the past year, or the most recently several months, on what community engagement is. It also includes information on our long-term planning executive summary. We're essentially sharing with you all the input that we got over time in preparation for the release of a draft long-term recovery plan. But we thought you'd be interested on what everybody else have said from our work in the community. Oh. And returning by popular demand for our kupuna, there is going to be bingo blast. I know that's a big deal for all of you. So to register, you call 270-7308 and then push number 3. Okay, 270-7308. Select option 3 when you dial that number and register for the September 26th bingo blast at Lahaina Civic Center Hall. That's over here downstairs. 10 a.m., okay? So 10 a.m., September 26th, bingo returns. And on September 21st, again, continuing with our announcement at UHMC at the Pilina Student Lounge, on Saturday, September 21st, there will be a disaster case management program event hosted by the state's Department of Human Services. It'll talk about the disaster case management program and meet with the state representatives within those programs. And there'll be food, music, keiki activities. So on this Saturday, September 21st, it's going to be in Central Maui at UHMC. And again, this flyer is on Maui Recovers page. So tonight we're going to get an update on debris clearing from our friends at Army Corps of Engineers. We're going to hear from our Department Head of Environmental Management on the county side on how the wastewater system, an update on the county's wastewater system. We're going to have a presentation by FEMA on their programs. It keeps coming up, so they're here tonight to try to consolidate the information and help give you current information. We invited, as we said before, Lieutenant Audra Sellers from Maui Police Department's Community Relations Division. She'll be here to talk about Neighborhood Watch. And then we'll get an update from the Deputy Director of the County Parks Department, Shane Dudawa, on the Lahaina Pool, our skate park, and the use of fields up in that area. And then, as usual, we'll take questions at the end. Our entire team is here, including Four Leaf and others who are not part of the presentation team. Next week, we'll be back with the Department of Education. We asked them to offer an update on that survey of sites for Kamehameha III. What's the status? How's it going? And EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency on the federal side, will be here as well next week. I'm going to turn this over to Mayor. Oh, Zeke? We're good? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm going to turn this over to Mayor Bisson here, and then from him, we'll hear a little bit from Laurie Le'Degama from his advisory team.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back after a couple of weeks of not having. Hope you guys enjoyed that break too. I usually recognize our advisory team when I come in, but because they were making a presentation tonight, only Laurie Lay showed up. I don't know what happened to your band, Kaliko, and I don't know where they went. So Laurie will have more time. I wanted you to know we just got back from California. Some folks last week, we were at a leadership summit sponsored by After the Fire, an organization that, we just joined with the newest member of a wildfire community that was impacted. And so we met up with lots of other communities from California, Colorado, from around the country. They brought us together. It was a combination of us sharing what's happened to us, some unique things that happened to us that haven't happened to them, and then, of course, mostly learning from them. There were about 30 people from Maui that were sent up there. This was covered by this organization, the flights and the hotels and everything. And we had people from all different areas, parts of Lahaina and parts of the recovery that were attending. From the county, there were maybe 10 or 12 of us. The rest of the folks that were there came from other parts of Maui, other organizations. Senator McKelvey, who's here, attended. Senator Troy Hashimoto, Tamara Paulton from Lahaina. You folks were well represented. But the county, we also had some of our folks. That's John Smith, in charge of recovery, who's on this panel. Josiah Nishita, who gave the best keynote address of anybody who spoke during the 3 or 4 days, also was one of them. You'll hear more from Laurie and her perspective and anybody else who was there, for Leaf, other folks that were attending. I just wanted to update you on that. I just wanted to address one more thing, and that's Wahikuli. You know, in the beginning, there was a lot of criticism for closing the communities, by closing them off, by setting up roadblocks. There were lots of things that could have been done better, but the whole idea of closing it off to folks needing a placard, needing permission, a permit to get through, took some time for us to adjust that. Well, our newest criticism is that we opened it and people can come through now, and that's also, you know, something we can learn more about. So I just wanted to address 3 things about reopening Wahikuli and what will likely happen in the other neighborhoods. Just so you know, once the debris has been cleared, there's no legal reason for us to close those roads anymore. There's no legal reason we have to prevent people from going back through public place. However, we did prepare signs, our public works, that said local traffic only, to try to persuade, or I should say dissuade, tourists from coming through and taking pictures, because we know that's insensitive. But that's also meaning other people from Maui who might be maha'oi and want to come through and see something. So again, we say local traffic only. We did that. The second thing is I did have a meeting with Police Deputy Chief Maeda, who did say he would instruct the captain out on this side, Everett Ferreira, as well as his Assistant Chief, Keola Tom, to increase patrol coming through that neighborhood now that, you know, people will be moving back. They'll be purchasing building materials and things of that nature. And then the third thing is the lighting. Ooh, let me say about the lighting. So we've gone through different ideas. One was for us to purchase like solar lights that will turn on in the evening when, you know, motion sensor solar lights. We were also working with HECO. They plan to restore the lighting through that neighborhood. We're trying to work on a better system, and this came to us from our advisory team, of maybe having a lighting plan before we open the next phases of communities. Well, we don't really control that piece. It's a HECO decision where to set up the lights. But as of this week, we have been sued, the county, by Earth Justice because we wanted to put the lights back on as they were. We have to follow an ordinance that requires us to put on a certain level of light. It's an ordinance to protect seabirds. But I would just say that those lights are very difficult to come across and might take us some time to purchase those. Now, there might be a couple other, you know, legal challenges or things we can do to try to see if we can get those lights back up and running. I just wanted to update those of you in the Wahikuli neighborhood, and then those of you whose neighborhoods may be coming online next, that we're aware of those things, having people drive through, having people take pictures, so trying to put up signs. The people who are responsible, the private company that's doing the monitoring or the checks, the roadblocks and the checkpoints, some of them are driving through the neighborhoods just as deterrence and trying to do patrolling, just so you know. They're not required to do that under their contract. They're supposed to be working on the checkpoints, but we appreciate that they are willing to do that as well. We're going to try to figure out ways so that you folks, as you're rebuilding your building equipment and supplies, are not being, you know, damaged or stolen. So if you have any questions, you can ask them towards the end, and we might have other folks that can do it. Usually I introduce Tamara Paulton next. She is not here tonight, but I'm going to introduce Laurie DeGama, who is the next presenter. And you can see how happy she is to be called up. Lori DeGama.
How come out of 30, only Lori DeGama get for talk? Well, so we went to Sonoma last week after the fires, and honestly, I didn't want to go. I said I wanted to focus on whatever I needed to do on, what we're going through for this fire and rebuilding and things. And so I know that I am the one that has that story and the connection that I can make to the people, and so I went. And I want to say I was okay with going, except Lori doesn't like school either, and it was a conference, and on the daily we attended. And it was with all kinds of different people from around the world who have been in fires or who have suggestions or have things to help with fires. The thing that I took away the most from this conference, and which was really upsetting for me, was the fact that these fires aren't going away, and it's kind of like a life. 2023 was my second escape fire. 2018 was my first, and it made me realize that, yes, we have been dealing with fires and the in-between fires, and all of Lahaina is on PTSD because of these fires. And so the first thing that I grabbed onto, because normally I go to these and I'm like, what are we going to do to stop the fires? What are we going to do? What can we do? What can we change? Put everything underground for electric. And this time I had to walk away going, well, learning from the past. So for me, I took away with control burns. And I see it's something that we need to do because of the brown grass, and it's not being maintained. And how do we get it done like yesterday? Because to Lahaina Luna, because my 2018 fire and my 2023 fire, it was in that brown grass that it started. And I also feel if there was a control burn, I actually think I would feel safe if it was maintained and taken care of. So that was one major thing that I took away from it. I also realized that homeowners do have to take part and do their role. They need to, as we go back, like planting next to your house may not be the best idea. Plant it on the perimeter, like 5 feet away. I also took another story from one of the speakers. They were saying how they practiced the evacuation routes, the sirens were used, and how getting people evacuated out right away with their pets and animals, that allowed firefighters to come in and just focus on the fire. So instead of losing thousands of homes, they lost maybe 100 homes. So that was something, again, I took away from that. And there were also people there talking to us about trying to build back with, there's all kinds of things that we're in the newer ages, things have been invented. And so how to use materials that might, not be so flammable. Again, the biggest realization also was when we went to where they had the tub fire and the community talked to us. And I kind of had to pull away and I broke down, and because what they were talking was like the same language as me. And I realized that we're all a part of this club that is about fires. And there's many of us that have been through it or going through it. There was literally 3 fires going on in California while we were having the conference. And so again, that was another emotional journey for me because of what I've been through. And also seeing like it took them 7 years to rebuild, and I was not happy with that. I had to repeat that over and over. I kind of feel Maui, we seem to be moving faster. So I came back again asking like, what is it we need help with? I have recommended maybe putting a suggestion box like, again, what is it that we need help with? I myself don't want to deal with the paperwork and the permits, so I go and stay busy with other things so that I don't have to be in my real of what I have to do. But we're going to need to help pull each other along and build one by one. And, you know, we all miss Lahaina. We're missing home. It's been over a year. And so that's what I took away from Sonoma. And so I'm happy I went, but don't tell the mayor that. Oh, okay, so this picture is, the bottom right is the one where we went to the community and we talked about the Tubbs fire. And it was literally a husband and wife from the community who was talking to us. And again, I couldn't really engage. I ended up going to the side and talking to their neighbor who actually went through the fire as well. And he was crying with me and talking with me. Again, it was like being with old friends. And I told him, after 7 years, you still are grieving and crying over this? And he said yes. And even the one that was speaking, she said she cries on the daily. And so it's something, again, we will be going through, and I don't know if we'll ever be the same, but it's just kind of like a part of life. And hopefully you can find the, you know, just the strength to keep going and support each other and support your family and friends. Try to, you know, make time to be with family and friends. I also feel we're being robbed of time with our family and friends because we are living all over the island. And so make the effort to check in. Takes a phone call. We have FaceTime now. And so, yeah. And so there I am on the top left hugging the one lady who I was barely able to listen to. That's all the people that were there. And I talked twice, one on a panel and then, I don't know, one other time, but that's two. But yes, it was a great trip overall. And then also, Maui people got to actually interact with Maui people. We're so busy working and fighting and attending meetings and like, you know, we don't get to really also gather with like the other smaller groups that came. And so that also kind of reassured them that, you know, we're all fighting the same fight. We're all on the same page. We all want the same thing, and that is for Lahaina to be Lahaina again. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie. I just want to, did she say fighting? We don't fight. This is the Maui delegation. And again, these slides you can see it clearer on mauicovers.org. We did have a tremendous mix, not just our county folks, but we also had community leaders as well as our elected officials. So, and you'll see the screen in the back, Hawaii Aloha. They were so connected to Maui in the times that they came to help us and support us, that we helped them learn and sing Hawaii Aloha. And they loved it so much, they want to do it every day. So we tried, and anyway, it was a very cultural exchange, so that was good. But very happy that we had a good mix. Noe, Lani Ahia folks, and Rebecca, I think the last name is Usilini, they were part of a separate panel on community work within the disaster. At this time, and council member Tamara Paulton, as Mayor said, is off island. She's attending the Hawaii State Association of Counties, of which I believe she's vice chair on Oahu. So that meeting is happening this week. So she sends her regards and aloha. I'm going to turn this over to Lieutenant Colonel to give us an update.
Aloha. Lori's a tough act to follow, so positive news so far on progress. Take a few minutes to share those updates really quickly. So for residential debris, as you know, clearing of the debris. Thanks in collective effort from the community and everyone else that was involved through phase one, then through phase two to get where we are now. And so we have only six closeout packets remaining for the residential debris, so we'll hopefully have those cleared up over the next week or so. So we're at 1,384 out of the 1,390 properties, just awaiting those closeout packets that will be uploaded to the MauiRecovers.org here shortly. All erosion controls down on the residential properties as well. We finished that up last Friday on the Spinnaker apartment complex. For commercial property, we have moved and completed several properties over the last 2 to 3 weeks, so we're now at 99 out of 159 properties cleared, so just 60 properties remaining. Appreciate your patience on that. Of the 60 properties, half of those, so about 30, a little over 30, have some sort of progress being made, whether it be sampling or we're making it safe or we're collecting hazardous materials from it or we're actually conducting the debris removal. So just over half of those properties remaining are underway. So appreciate, again, everyone's patience and cooperation as the contractors and our team get after those properties. For the right-of-way debris removal, we've been working closely with the county emergency management and MEMA to clear debris from right-of-way areas. So that's debris that's out off people's property, that's in the public access areas or along the roadsides. And so we clear those with our teams. You may have seen crews out, small crews working their way through the neighborhood, and that's just to clear that debris to make the area safe before MEMA could then open those neighborhoods. So you saw that recently on Monday when the Puamana area up through Shaw Street was opened. So slowly that impact area is slowly starting to open. So hope you're seeing that progress. Thanks for the patience on that. In Kilauea, we're at just over 86% complete in the Kilauea group housing site. So site preparation's coming along well. The next thing you'll see over the next week, that's a large milestone for the group housing site, is we'll lay the asphalt roads down here shortly in the next run. Street lights are up. So we're really just getting the roads in, or the asphalt roadways in, and some final prep into the group, or by the 28 October deadline that we have. And then coinciding with that, we have the Kealamoka sewer line that's on Fleming Road right now. And so we started on, that's 2,500 linear feet of sewer line, and we're at just over 40%. So 1,100 linear feet in. A majority of that is the 8-inch sewer line that we're running on Fleming right now, as many of you know if you're living in Waiakuli area. And so we started just Mackay of the Ainakea and Fleming Road intersection, and the crew that's working that area is at the Mauka side, or the highest point on Fleming. We think they'll make connection this Friday with the Kilauea utilities, and then they'll come back down to Ainakea and then start working back Mackay towards Mallow Street. And then we have one other crew working from the lift station that's on Mallow, where the Terrace Park is, and then they're working north to make to link up with Fleming. So that's going well. We have 7 of the 29 lateral cleanouts that we had that we're going to install for the residents. 7 of the 29 are in, so we'll continue to work those. The priority is to get the main line in time for when the homes start to show up at Kilauea, so that when families begin to occupy those homes, they have a operational sewer line. And I did get some questions about the lift station there. And for the group housing site for up to 169 families, the homes that we're taking off cesspools and putting onto the sewer line. Next week, EPA will come in and they'll brief at the community meeting next Wednesday on their plan and their strategy of what the goal is for Waiakuli on getting the remainder of the neighborhood on the sewer line. So we're working close with them, sharing what we learn, sharing our design plans with them so they can tie in seamlessly with what we've already established and get the rest of the community on the sewer line. So that completes my update, and I'll be around for questions afterwards. Thank you.
Shane Agawa, Director of Environmental Management. Good to be here again. Tonight I'm just going to give a brief update on wastewater, where we're at. So currently we're working in the Kuhua camp area. It's been a slow progress. We have our internal crews working in here. They're also doing the CCTV that EPA couldn't have done because of debris and different reasons. So right here you see the before. This is the Pioneer Mill large lot and the Kuhua camp area. This is where we're at now. So the Pioneer Mill parcel and about 9 or 10 lots or so in the Kuhu area are now active. Again, we are currently working in the area, so in the upcoming weeks, you'll see the green start moving up further Mauka. The main trunk line goes through the Pioneer Mill site. So as I described before, if you look at our sewer system, it's like a tree. You got your trunk, you got your branches, and then the leaves are like the lots. So there may be some lots that are good, but we can't turn it green because the trunk side, there's still damage that we got to work on, and everything flows downhill. So as you'll see us progressing, we will start moving further Mauka from the trunk line in the Pioneer Mill lot. Recently, this is south of Lahaina Luna Road, David Malo area. So from Lahaina Luna Road to Dickinson, that area is turned green along with this single lot here on the Mauka side. The gray lots are not connected to our sewer system. And I just have another general update. I don't have a slide for this. I just got updated from our wastewater reclamation division today. These are for the properties that are below the highway, what we in the past referred to as a black box. It's Makai of the highway from Kenui Street to Shaw Street. That area, as I mentioned before, is under contract. We have a contractor. We got the bids in June. As I mentioned before, the bid was contested, so that set us back a couple months. The good news is we got through the contested bid. The contract is being developed with our corp counsel, and we plan and anticipate to have that contract executed within the week. Now what that means is when the contract is executed, we can give the contractor notice to proceed, NTP. From there, my understanding is they'll take about 2 weeks to mobilize, and then they can start breaking ground on repairing the sewer system of all the remainder of Lahaina. So we just thank you for being patient with us. My understanding is the contractor has secured a base yard in Lahaina. They are starting to mobilize equipment and materials. So once they break ground, you start seeing a lot of this red start turning green. Our internal crews, they're very limited as the repairs of what they can do. So the progress recently has been slow. But once the contractor gets on board, you'll start seeing a lot of movement and upgrades in the sewer system. But yeah, thank you for your patience. I'll be here to answer any questions at the end.
Good evening, my name is Brian. I'm with FEMA Region 9, and I'll be discussing some of our individual assistance program as it relates to insurance and rental assistance. So with that, there's going to be a lot of information being covered, but these slides will be provided on the county site. So with that, we just want to reiterate that FEMA is here to help. So if you do have insurance, you still may be eligible for financial assistance. But two types of financial rental assistance that I want to highlight, and that's initial rental assistance and CTHA, or continued temporary housing assistance. So the timing of the initial rental assistance, if there isn't insurance, it's immediately after the FEMA inspection. And if you do have insurance, it's going to be after the exhaustion of that insurance. And with CTHA, if you're eligible for rental assistance, there is an application that is required. But in terms of how much you could be getting for initial rental assistance, it's 2 months of rental assistance at the HUD. Or CTHA, it's 3 months at up to 175. I just want to highlight some numbers. Over $30 million to 4,200 households. And for CTHA, we've approved $14.5 million in additional rental assistance to over 700 households. So we're definitely here to help you through the process. It can be daunting at times, but we do have staff on island that can assist us. And last time we got, this is just an example timeline using September as the start date. But if your insurance ends October, just shift the timeline accordingly. So if using this example, If you do have insurance and the last month of insurance coverage is for the month of September, as soon as the insurance company makes the payment to the landlord, come September 2nd, you should gather all that document, which will cover the first 2 months thereafter. So it'll cover October and November at 100% of HUD fair market rate. And then once the exhaustion of initial rental assistance after you pay the landlord November 1st, come November 2nd, that's when you can apply for CTHA. So again, we have printed copies of this timeline. Miss Tammy is over there if you need a copy of this slide, and then you can match your timeline. So I know that everyone's insurance ends differently, but if your insurance ends in October or November, just shifts the month after accordingly. So with CTHA, if you apply and if you're granted the eligibility requirements, it's for 3 months at 175% HUD FM fair market rate. And this side has a lot of information too. There are some eligibility requirements and some paperwork that is required. Again, these slides and this information is available at the county website, but we do have in-person help to walk you through the process. I just want to highlight that if you're eligible for initial rental assistance, CTHA is based on financial burden. So with that, there will be some documentation as it relates to your income as well. And lastly, again, just want to put this information to the public as it relates to our helpline number. It's available 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. to accommodate people's work hours before and after. And language lines are available if you need that assistance in your particular language. We do have 2 public-facing sites that we're assisting with at the CNHA office in Central Maui and also at the Lahaina Gateway Center. Also, if you have questions about your individual cases tonight, again, Miss Tammy is right over there. She has her computer and can look up your case and can advise you on your eligibility and needed documentation to walk you through the process. I'll be available for questions afterwards, but again, any personal questions, Miss Tammy is available right now, so if you want to walk over to her, she'll be happy to help. Thank you.
Aloha, I'm Lieutenant Audra Sellers. Thank you for having me here. They asked me to come speak about Neighborhood Crime Watch, or NNW. It's now National Neighborhood Watch, because they have an emphasis on the emergency management side. So it's inclusive, not just the crime watch for your neighborhood. Honestly, I'm gonna be real, you guys aren't in your neighborhood, so it's going to be difficult to create a neighborhood crime watch if you're not in the neighborhood. Does that make sense? But I'll give you the information, and it's a great program. And why do we have it? Is because we know who belongs in our neighborhood and who doesn't. And I know there's a big concern with everybody starting to rebuild and putting your property out there and making sure that it's secure. Okay, we have other programs as well, crime prevention through environmental design, something that Lori touched on, where you plant your bushes, where you dry, that come together and help each other. Watch each other's properties, know who belongs in there, and confronts people that don't belong there in a nice way, not in a bad way. And we'll teach you that. You know, communication is a big thing, right? And the way you talk to people is huge, okay? So that's one of the things that we'll train you with. There are things that you need to do for your neighborhood watch. Again, the emphasis is there's Homeland Security at its most local level. Okay, you know who belongs there and who doesn't. We're just gonna go through this really fast. To start up a neighborhood watch, obviously you need to recruit and organize as many people as you can in your neighborhood. You're gonna create a tree of people that you communicate with. You're gonna have meetings, you're gonna have walks. You're gonna contact police once you have your list of people, and I'm gonna give you a checklist if you're interested in it. And you could also get it on the website, nnw.org. nnw.org. Really simple. And discuss your community's concerns. Officers will come and speak with you once you got your group established. We can get you signage. We'll post them up. You guys used to see those signs, right? The Neighborhood Crime Watch signs. We got some really nice ones. We'll help you put those up in your neighborhood. Okay, you can create a communication plan, and that's something I talked about, is having that tree. You know, when an emergency happens, you check on your neighbor. We all did that already, right? Okay, so this just takes it to the next level. And again, you take action, hold meetings and have events. Have police come, have police presence. Okay? And this is the checklist. You can't really see it because it's nice and small, but I'll give you a copy if you'd like. I have a bunch of copies over there. And you could also, I'll give you my email if you guys are interested. It was on the first slide. And we could give you additional information. But again, this will tell you what you need. This is going to add excitement and get people involved in your neighborhood. And then building partnerships. That's the biggest thing, is building partnerships. Anybody have any questions? I guess I'll answer them at the end.
Could you just share a little bit what they could do to help themselves and their property?
Okay, so she's asking me to help you share, or help share what you could do on your property. Obviously, the big concern is you guys are going to have building equipment. People steal equipment already, and it's crimes of opportunity, right? If it's not secure, they're going to take it. We have the people that have and the people that have not, right? And you've heard of the people that are stealing generators and stealing stuff from hubs. I mean, the hubs will give it to you for free, but people still steal it. Why? Because it's there, right? So we make it inconvenient for them. You might want to consider putting a container on your property, securing it with chains and stuff like that. I mean, people take big equipment. I don't know if you guys know that. People that are out there and they take tractors and things like that because they want to take it for a joyride or whatever they happen to do. Okay? So how do we protect ourselves? Know your neighbors, check your properties, have camera systems. Ideally, if you can live on your property, I know everybody's going, yeah, I wish we could. I wish I could live on my property. But what can we do to secure it? You know, police are going to be out there, hopefully, and doing more patrols. We're asking the captain, as the mayor said. The deputy has said that he will put more people out there. But just know, check your property regularly if you can. Have your neighbors check it. Again, like I said, have containers. If you can secure it the best way you can. If your contractor can put a fence around your property while they're building, might be ideal. Because people want to take something that's easy, right? If I could take it and walk and grab it and then walk away, or load it up in my truck, that's easy. But if I put a fence, if I lock it up, if I put it in a container, it might deter them a little more. Is that enough? Thank you.
Here he comes. Do you want me to click where you go?
Do I have one? Yeah. Okay. Aloha, everyone. My name is Shane Duro, and I'm the Deputy Director of Parks and Recreation. I had rotator cuff surgery about a week and a half ago, and the medicines are great. So help me, understand me to try to get through this, and I will give you guys an update on what we have. Our status of Lahaina Aquatic Center. We have found some expansion joint discrepancies, not much, but we're still looking to open the aquatic center before, at the very latest, October 11th. So we're really trying hard to get these things taken care of, and how you do this, Mahina? Next slide. Your skate park that you have out in the rec center is open, as well as the rec center field 1. Pop Warner should be practicing out there right now. It took a lot of work to get it going, and much love to everyone that participated in getting these fields ready for our kids of Lahaina. Next one, Mahina. Do I have another one? Is that it? Oh, that's it. Okay. Few things just to keep everybody in the loop. We have a date of, I don't know, ceasing operations in Esterns in Napili. The organization there has 1,000 turkeys that are being donated for Thanksgiving. So if you guys need a turkey, go get a turkey. After that is done, they will cease operations. And we can give it back to the community. You guys can go surf. Ainakea Park in the Ainakea community is open. It is green. Feel free to enjoy it. Thank you, everyone. And I think that's all I have to say. I appreciate all of you guys and your willingness to just hang on with us. Mahalo.
Thank you, Deputy Director. I'm just laughing because of Shane. The last time he came, he entertained all of you, right? So who asked for his email? What was your email, Shane, that you gave? You gave your email the last time. shane.durua@mauicounty.gov. Someone else asked me that, okay? It is not Brother Shane at mauicounty.gov. But mahalo to our Parks Department for their work on this. October 11th, Aquatic Center pool. The skate rink is now open, and the field for Pop Warner is being used. So we are making good progress. At this time, we're going to go ahead and take questions. But before we begin, I did want to invite up Four Leaf. They're here tonight. We had a question that came up about concerns about inspectors. How do we know that these inspectors are inspectors, like real, for real kind? So I'm going to have Mike Renner come up. And if you want to introduce your your inspector, your fellow team, that's good.
Foremost, any of the inspectors that represent Four Leaf for the county will have a county badge. So anyone who comes out without a county badge that I don't have will look just like this. So big C on the front. I know the colonel likes that. Big C. State of Hawaii on the back. So anybody that doesn't have that, you guys always have cards as well and personal IDs. So this is Rising Inspector. He's our first boots on the ground. Guess while I'm up here, real quick, we have 81 permits issued, 155 instruction right now. So we're moving.
Thank you, Four Leaf, and thank you, Mike and Peter. So again, if they show up and you're unsure, you ask them, you have every right to say, can I see your county badge? If they tell you they left it back at the office, tell them, you will see them when they go get it and come back. Totally fine. Don't feel pressured about it. I have our microphone folks, same thing. So we have our team here to help with any questions you have. Raise your hand. We'll do our best. And as a reminder, we have the homeowners webinar coming up that those questions can be answered and helped with as well. I saw a hand here, and I saw another one here at NT. Go ahead.
This is for Four Leaf. I put in my SMA exemption forms, and they said that they are going to be giving those to Four Leaf. So I'm just curious as to when you think you're going to start looking at those, and how long do you expect the process to be?
Thank you. So we actually had a meeting with planning today, and we went through the SMA exemption steps, for lack of a better term. So there's still definitely a process. So we take them in. There's cultural comments that are made, basically a 30-day window, and those also have to go to SHPD. SHPD has a 45-day window to review. If they don't review in those 45 days, it's by default approved. So we're now at a point where, as of Monday, Monday or Tuesday, we'll start churning those. My team will start churning those. So we're only handling the SMA exemptions outside of county historic districts 1 and 2. Planning is going to keep those, but they're also committed to that quick time frame. But the new rules are in place, and they're moving forward, and I think you'll hear a statement from planning early next week. Okay.
Thank you. Colonel's going to hold the mic. That's why we bring Colonel. Before we move to the next question, I wanted to, okay. Before we go on to that, just don't want to forget. Some of you may have heard about the Augie T concert. It is for you, Lahaina. So it's free, but free with ticket. Okay, so you go get your ticket. I know that. Free with ticket. So you can get a ticket from the Lahaina Gateway office. Is that right, Lori? Kako'o Center at Maui Mall or KPOA? Oh, Ka'oi. Ooh, sorry, Ka'oi. Ka'oi Radio. That is in Wailuku, correct? So you can go to there, and it's Agiti, Brada Kahayali'i, and much more. I don't know that band much more, but you can go get your ticket, but you need the ticket to get in, even though it's free, okay? That way they know it's you, Lahaina, and not everybody else showing up. Is that right? Okay, we have a question here from NT, and then we'll go to Morris. We'll let NT ask first. Oh, the date? Guess. No, I'm just kidding. Saturday, September 28th. So not this Saturday, next week, here at the Lahaina Amphitheater at 5 p.m. It is Augie T's gift to Lahaina to come, take a break, enjoy the company, and have a good Saturday afternoon with him. Go ahead, NT, and then we'll go there.
This is for the lieutenant.
Okay, for Lieutenant. Come on over, Lieutenant.
Are they patrolling Waikuli at this time?
Excuse me?
Are they the police patrolling Waikuli at this time?
Yes, they are.
Are they really?
They are.
We don't see them.
We'll make sure that I'll go down and talk to them.
We have Fleming Road. The only people we see is the security.
Okay. We'll make sure that I talk to the captain after this.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank
I'll follow
you.
up.
Morris? Good. Senator McKelvey, did you have a question?
No, I didn't have a question. Morris wanted me to talk about the bill that came up at the conference in California. Right now, all the benefits and everything we received is going to be exposed to federal and state taxes. And everybody's going to be pushed up into a higher tax bracket. There's a bill in Congress right now to exempt fire survivors from having this treated as income, so it's not taxable. So I plan to introduce the same thing at the state level, so it is also exempt from state taxes. And this is important because all of a sudden you're pushed up into a way higher bracket, you get taxed at a way higher rate. So this is a really important thing that came out of the conference. We appreciate everybody's support in lobbying our federal delegation for it, and we're going to follow up on the legislative side so we can ensure protection from state taxes. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was one of the things that came out of the conference in California. Mahalo.
Thank you, Senator. I saw a hand up over here. I lost track. Oh, okay. Here was Logan over there. And then I saw another one in this area. Oh, okay. Go ahead, ma'am.
Do you need a permit to put a container or a shack on your property?
Okay, question for...
Generally speaking, you need to grab a permit. Yeah, we want to make sure it's outside of the setbacks and it's in a safe location on the property. Also, if you're going to run power, so some folks that are setting containers are running electric, get some lights in there. That would need a permit just for safety. So come see us specifically with each question and we'll figure it out.
Did you have a follow-up on that? Okay, and then we'll go there.
What happened if you're in the SMA area? Can we still go to you? I mean, I'm on shoreline.
If you're in the SMA area and you want to put a container, do you need a permit?
Yeah, did you say you're a shoreline property? You check with planning. I have strict instructions, check with planning, shoreline properties.
All right, and I know planning director has come every week and said that. She is actually en route.
Lieutenant Colonel, around regarding Fleming Road. You said that you mentioned the sewer, that it's going to be completed at the end of October?
So the main line of the sewer will be completed by the end of October.
But did you hear that there were bones found below Anakea? You
So-
know, the sewer
on-
workers were digging around, I guess, and they found bones.
So on the one lateral takeout, so we stopped working there as per our policy, how we do things. So we stopped working there. The find was in some sand that we used as fill in that area, so we stopped working on the southern side of the road. So that's why you've seen no lateral takeouts or cleanouts being worked on that side, because we know the sand's there. We're currently working with the State Historic Preservation Division to get further guidance on how to proceed there. You'll see that the crews, when they're digging, regardless if they're in the area of the sand or not, they're only taking 6 inches at a time. And so 6 inches at a time with the archaeologists there to monitor if there's any artifacts being found. There's that one instance on the lateral cleanout near south of the Ainake intersection near Mallow Road in that sand, and that's why we've just stopped and moved on and ceased working in that area for now.
By lateral, what do you mean?
It's and then to the main line that's underneath Fleming that we're placing. A lateral just means it's branching off the main line to a private property.
Colonel, can you clarify a line for water, sewer?
Sewer line.
But where was the bones found again?
I don't have the exact location, but it's on the Fleming side, on the south side.
South side. But
Between Ainakea and Mallow.
it's between Anakea and the railroad tracks?
No. Oh, yeah, yes. So the railroad tracks are on Mallow, so yes.
Yeah, Malo. And then, but the sewer line is still going to be completed by October?
Yes. Because we stopped working in the sand area on those lateral cleanouts. We're just working on the main line, which we know that sand is not where the main line is where we're digging. And so we'll get further clarification from the state on how to proceed. Until then, we've stopped in that area.
Do you know if any of the water pipes are broken or old?
We can take your question off.
Okay,
That's
thank you.
specific.
I'll come and see you right after, though.
Okay, thank you. I saw a hand somewhere. Okay, I guess that's you. Go ahead.
Poor Morris knows what I'm going to say. So I have run into an issue. I just got a closeout last Wednesday. Called my insurance company to get my debris removal set up so I could start getting the excess things that the Corps of Engineer was not supposed to take. And the insurance company says, we can't give you any until the Corps of Engineers sends us this company. They're just picking on me. Anyway, so, and I could have sworn that this was the only people going to get our excess debris removal money was going to be the county if there was looking for.
Erin is not here tonight.
Yeah.
Could you, where's?
And Corps of Engineers, I'm not the only person, not here, but people
Okay.
are calling me about it.
So first of all, we want to make sure you add that question to the survey for homeowners insurance. And Cynthia Lalo, who's raising her hand right now, the mayor's senior executive on his staff, please see her so that we can clarify with Erin Wade.
One is the area, forget the street name. It's a cul-de-sac off of Ainakea. There's a bunch of lots there that are red. There's another bunch. There's several reasons why they're still red. There's damage to the sewer line, and also the work that Army Corps is doing coming down Fleming. So once Fleming is done and tied in, then we can start doing repairs and opening up those two zones. But Waikuli Terrace from Fleming going south, that's all sewered already. Okay. Yeah. The rest of Waikuli all the way down to Kaniao, from Fleming to Kaniao. As the Lieutenant Colonel said, EPA is working on the design right now. Thanks to the Army Corps, they left a stub out for that system to tie in. The plan is, and we've been in coordination with EPA, so EPA is handling all the design and permitting of the Waikuli sewer system, the lots that aren't sewered right now. Once the design and permitting is done, then they hand it off to our department, DEM, and then we run with the construction portion. So along the way, we are in coordination with them. The plan is, once they get to a certain point in design, we're going to come to the community. We're going to hold a meeting or a virtual meeting with the Waikuli people. Let them know what the design is at that point. Make sure everybody's on board before we have EPA move on. Because no sense we go to the final design if the community doesn't have input and doesn't agree with the design. Just for your knowledge, some lots, because as you know, Waikuli is pretty steep.
Right.
Some lots are going to be required to have a pump on their property to pump it to, not a lot, but some. The other alternative is to put the lines in people's backyards. Now, we cannot make everybody happy, right? Yeah. Some people are going to be, I don't like them in my backyard. I don't care about my neighbor. I don't like them in my backyard. Well, we all got to work together. We all got to agree with one design that works for all. So we're going to come to you when that design is at the early stages, this, so people can see, okay, am I going to have a pump on my property? Is it going to work for me? Get some input. But we ask that the community be willing to give and take for their neighbor's sake. Because as we all know, the desire is to sewer Waikuli.
Okay. And my other question is, are they planning in any way to add another pump station in that area or make it bigger than what it is?
The study showed that that pump station can handle the amount of volume coming in. The pinch points are going to be in the transmission lines, meaning the main line going in Honopi-Lani Highway.
Right.
Some areas are going to have to be upsized because of the increase in flow, but that pump station, to my knowledge, can handle all that. And like the Colonel said, the temp housing that's coming in.
Because I live across the street from the pump station, and we know Makai of the highway, right? Makai.
Yeah.
So whenever there is a downdraft, when they pump that thing out, we get all the smell on there. And it's terrible.
Unfortunately, duru stink. And we cannot put that pump station underground. We do our best with the technology that's afforded to us. It's getting better. There's systems that we can mitigate the smell. There's physical covers that we can do. We're always looking to upgrade. Okay. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. All right, thank you, because we've had that for many years. And then, you know, I call every morning. They pump like early in the morning, about 1, 2 o'clock. So I call them and I tell them, how would you like to be sleeping and smelling that, you know?
Yeah, just to clarify, there's nobody going there and saying, I'm turning on the pump at 3 in the morning. It's all based on flow. It's automatic. When the flow says we got a pump it turns on. It's a computerized system. So I go blame the computer.
I just don't want a larger one, you know?
Yeah, but we'll work on the smell. I mean, there's, like I said, new technology. So, thank you for the question.
Thank you, Auntie. Go ahead. A question here on Logan's side.
Shane, I think what she's talking about is having lived for 48 years. Kukai stinks, but when you add more, when they did the last rebuild on the pump station, it was great. So what happens is you put more in there. So what she's saying is you've got all those other homes coming in, you're hooking up more people. Down the line, it's going to be overloaded, and we're going to be, instead of cleaning it out once every 3 or 4 years, it's going to be every 6 months, and it's really bad. So I guess what she's saying is, does that make sense? I mean, are we having a future? They're working on it right now. Is there anything they can do to make it last longer?
Sorry, I couldn't clearly hear. You're talking about the pump station by Waikuli Terrace Park?
Yeah. I think she's talking about the pump station.
Yep.
Sorry, cool.
And your question is?
When it first went in, it didn't stink. And then we got more homes and more people, and we built. And then it had to be cleaned out more often. And then sometimes it was like every 6 months, sometimes more often. And it really is bad because they take the top off and, you know, scrape it. So now I think what she's saying is with all these more homes being put on in the area and being built, Kilohana, is this going to be able to hold it? Is this pump station going to handle it?
It will handle it. And
really?
Just for, well, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, Mayor's going to fire me if I lie to you. It can, like I mentioned, handle the volume, the capacity. Now, just for everybody's general knowledge, the reason why sewer stinks to the point it does, the longer it takes to get from a person's toilet to that pump station, it goes septic, meaning, if you can imagine, stagnant water. So the longer it takes, so as the town of Lahaina grew, our service area gets longer and the run to the pump station gets longer. So the more time in the pipe that sewage is, the more it's going to stink. So capacity-wise, we're okay. The smell, obviously, we will work on it, but as the service area expands, the run gets longer, the sewage gets more time to get ripe, for lack of better words, and the smell is going to come out.
Wow, I learned something tonight. Thank you, Director Ogawa. Morris, did you have a question on your side? Okay. Who's gonna reach you for? It's the youngin Logan Spencer that got to you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. My thing is, Lahaina has two symbol that it recognized for the people recognize as Lahaina. It's a banyan tree and Lahaina smokestack, and I'd like to ask about the status of the smokestack.
Okay, Shane can offer a little bit of insight on that.
Yeah, this is a little bit out of my lane, but we do have meetings almost every day. In the infrastructure meeting, what I can share is that there has been some concerns about the structural integrity of the smokestack. I believe it's under the jurisdiction of Lahaina Restoration Foundation, who has a structural consultant looking at it now, and they're waiting for the results of that finding.
Sir, did you have a question about the banyan tree? You mentioned the banyan tree.
No, it's just that a lot of effort was put in to save the banyan tree, and I like to see the effort put in to save the smokestack.
Okay, thank you. As soon as we get the results, I know that Public Works had committed to sharing those results of the structural inspection and then working with Lahaina Historic Foundation, Restoration Foundation. Oh, okay, go ahead, ma'am, your question?
I have a question for Parks Department and regarding the sewage. So is there a map that we can get to see where the sewer lines are? I'm in the Kahua Camp area, and since everything's gone, it'd be kind of nice to maybe tie into a different part on our property. And are you allowed to have two tie-ins? Like if you have a cottage on one side and a house on the other, can you have two tie-ins to the sewage or sewer line, or just the one? So that's one question. The other question is there some sort of map so we can maybe do a different tie-in, since all the pipes are broken anyway, we need to start from scratch?
Yeah, thank you for that question. There's been several people inquiring about changing the sewer system in that area, or in Lahaina in general. As you can imagine, a lot of the system was built back during the plantation days. Then the county took over. Regarding the map, unfortunately, that's an internal map. It's a lot to do with security reasons where we don't let our system out to the public. However, we can work with you on a case-by-case basis. So if you call our wastewater reclamation division on your specific concern, or you can call my office, you can find it online on the county website, Environmental Management. We can walk you through what the options are. We're aware of certain lines being in people's backyards, would probably be better in the street. Is the time right now to do it? That's yet to be determined. What we want to do is get people back operational and back on their properties. We'll work on relocating lines. The second question you asked, I think, is if you can have two tie-ins to your property. The answer is no. You have one lateral. However, you can have two structures tie into that lateral. Or like a cesspool, if you have cesspool, you can tie in.
Okay, then I guess maybe this question would be for Four Leaf then. If we want to put the sewer line connection in a different spot than where it was previous to the fire, does that take extra time and delay the permit process or the building process?
So for us, we operate on behalf of DSA, so we would only take care of the property line clean out in. So if you want to change the location of your property line clean out, I mean, that obviously would reference the public side as well. So there's kind of two different tracks or entities you're working with there. As far as we're concerned, you can put it more or less wherever you want on your property line, but it would have to be able to trunk into the main.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for the question.
I had a question for the Parks Department.
Okay, so our Deputy Director had to leave immediately after his presentation to take care of something urgent, but we'll take your question.
Well, and maybe it's more for the mayor's office anyway. For the parks in Lahaina that had either, like playground equipment lost, or like you guys have done a great job. I've watched the kids practicing out by the aquatic center. That's so awesome. There's lots of other little pocket parks and parks throughout Lahaina that I'm just curious, like if equipment got destroyed, what parks are going to do that? And I know like in our neighborhood, it would have been nice to have more of a playground option in our park area. So it's like if the like Rotary Club or some of the other 501c groups want to apply for the Lahaina Strong funds out of the Community Foundation, they need like certain projects. Could the county like maybe do a survey asking neighborhoods what would they like to see in their neighborhood park that wasn't there previously, and maybe the county put together a budget what that would cost to do, and then put it out to the public to see if there's any 501cs that would like to either fund it or ask for grants from the Lahaina Strong Fund to fund that, because I think parks are a really important part of our community, and it'd be nice to see them redone like you did the ones down by the Aquatic Center, and also improved in areas if possible.
Great, thank you. I see Mayor will help with that question.
Yes. No, what I'm saying is yes, we can make it available so that people can apply for grants so that they can come to their neighborhoods and put in stuff that the people from that neighborhood would like in their parks. That was your question, right? Yeah. Right. Oh, time frame? Well, if we dropped everything else we're doing, I'm sure we could get right to it, but my guess is we're not going to do that. So, I mean, I think it's a great idea. Just so you know, there are a lot of agencies that already offered to help. And I wanted to clarify something Junior said. I know he's gone, but Shane wasn't just thanking the Parks Department. He was thanking everybody in the community who did the help. So we're not trying to take the credit for stuff we didn't do. It was a group effort. The folks who helped put the pool together, Red Lightning, I don't know if they still come to the meetings. I know they've been here. I mean, for people who have come every Wednesday, you folks know that there's been a lot of folks that have stepped up and stepped in to help this community, not just the county. We're part of it, but we're not trying to be the whole thing. So, of course, we're open to everybody. By the way, Kim Ball did come as an advisory team. He came late, Laurie, but he did come to see you present. But Kim's been a big advocate for the pool, and he's offered nonprofits to help with funding some of the items that have needed there. So there are lots of people that know to come and ask the county, because of course it's going to help speed it up. So can our group, can our organization do something? The answer is yes. We welcome all of that help. And again, those folks that come and want to help us get the grass growing or water the grass or cut the grass, all the stuff, the things that Earl Kukahiko has been doing his whole life living across Ainakea Park, he didn't have to ask us. He's already been doing it. And yes, he used to work for the county, but at the same time, he was a longtime coach, and everybody, all of his players know, it's like school teachers who buy supplies for their students. There are a lot of people of the community, from the community. A lot of them are coaches, because coaches want to have fields for their players, so they help line the fields, they help do stuff. Parents, but that's, just so you guys know, the government, we all come from the county. Like, we all live with you guys. We're you guys' neighbors. There isn't the government, the county, and then there's the people. The people are the government. It's us. All of us. The people who live in Lahaina that work for the county are the same people that you guys live with as your neighbors. So I don't know why we always kind of have this separation. There's not a separation. And it's going to take all of us to do whatever little bit we can. So my answer is yes. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for that question. And I will say that the Parks Department Director, Pat McCall, had come a few months ago, if you were present at that meeting. And a question was also asked about community support for equipment. He welcomed it. It was just too early on. I think we're getting closer to the point where how do we piece it all together and actually make that part happen. So I appreciate your question about survey and opportunity and then pairing that up. So we'll take that back to Director McCall and his team and see where that can go the next well. Morris, you had a question on your side? Hi, Mike.
This is for the Colonel, Army Corps of Engineers. Last week, my wife and I were making several trips back and forth to Olowalu Dump, clearing debris from our property. And we made the observation driving along Hanoa-Pilani Highway, because it's open now and it's drive slow so nothing falls in the car. But we noticed the two-story Nagasako Variety Building, we observed it being leveled. And you had mentioned, what, 60 buildings still need to be leveled? Are all the commercial properties that are still standing, are they being leveled?
No, so the building you're referencing is one, I would say, we call that term making it safe. So
right.
we had the building collapse in and on itself, and then we conducted sampling on that, and then we'll conduct the debris removal. That's one of the 60 properties that still remain. It's going to take a little while for us to clear that property and make it Little C complete, but that's one of the 60 again, and that's when I said 50% of the properties have some sort of step being actively taken. That's one of the properties.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So there aren't 60 standing buildings. And some of these properties that I reference as far as commercial properties, they're parking lots or they're smaller lots that don't require as much debris removal. The lot you referenced is fairly large and has a fairly large volume of debris that's going to be removed. But I don't want to say that's the exception, but that's one of the larger lots that remains.
Oh, it's just a general question because we do see so many concrete buildings still standing, so I was just wondering.
Thank you, Michael. We're going to take a couple more questions here because our team will continue to be here afterwards. Okay, go ahead. Who's it for? Colonel?
Engineer.
The engineer?
Okay.
Corps of Engineers.
I live on Front Street on Mala, Front Street Mala area. Okay, our whole area is gone. But there's one more building that's still standing there. Will it ever be there forever or is it going to be knocked down? It's called Lahaina Roads. It's right on Front Street apartment.
I'll meet with you after. I have my debris team here and we can look at it. Okay. In the Mala area, though,
yes,
I believe we're complete, so if it wasn't...
Condominium.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the property, but I'll meet with you after this, and I'll link you in with my team.
It's a landmark. If you go through Mala, it's a landmark right there. That's only standing within the whole area.
Okay.
So we're just wondering, like, okay, everything else is down. Is that going to stay there? We don't know.
Off of what I know, I think it's going to stand, but I'll meet with you because if it's not already, in some stage already, then it's likely going to stand, and that wasn't scheduled for debris removal. But I'll have you link in with my team to 100% clarify that, but I'm pretty sure we have... Yeah.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you, Colonel. Our team will stay here, and if there aren't any... Oh, go ahead, sir.
I have one of the units in Lahaina Roads. The main problem with Lahaina Roads is the automobile that was sitting next to the elevator burst into flames and destroyed the elevator. So it's now working, so it will be open when we get access.
Oh, okay. Was that a question, or are you telling us that it's
No,
open?
I was just answering the lady. The building she's talking about is Lahaina Roads, and it's okay. It just needs, as this lady in front of me, whom I know,
okay.
is.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it just needs more work.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And I think Lieutenant Colonel might have a job for you since you helped answer Auntie's question. I'm just kidding. I want to go back to this before we close. Oh, Colonel, did you want to add to that? Oh, you offering him a job? Oh, no, he's just giving him money. I want to say that Kolia is from the Hawaii Journalism Initiative, an offshoot off of Pacific Media Group. And the reason I point this out is because he did a great story about the volunteers that did work on the Lahaina Aquatic Center. Same thing. So this photo we took from Chris Scher. And I bring this up because it's a combination of both what we could do from our county side, along with the terrific help that we got from the community who made their presence known months ago. So we really want to mahalo all of that. And I'm sorry that part was lost in translation earlier, but absolutely, we really acknowledge that kind of grassroots help along with the county workers' efforts. The best of both worlds to bring out solutions like this. We have one final question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's for Court Engineer.
Okay, for Lieutenant Colonel.
Mrs. Felicilla, thank you for that question. Today, we were passing by Lahaina Shores on the highway. My question is it being occupied? Because we saw people in the building rented out.
So I'm getting head nods, but the Corps of Engineers doesn't have any say in what Lahaina Shores properties,
Well,
whether it's occupied or not.
Well,
For Leaf, do you want to offer
since
a
Mrs.
response?
Felicilla brought that out, I had concern because that was one of the fire zones, and why it's been occupied now. It's all on social media.
So I think Fort Leaf will answer because social media is not always the accurate answer.
It's for sure not being occupied. So there's some open permits, there's no water. Don't believe everything you read. And we make visits out there to ensure as well. So.
Passed by today and I saw it. My daughter told me to take a look. I said, good, because I'm going to be at this meeting today and I'm going to bring it up. But thank you, Mrs. Felicilla, for bringing that part up. So if you guys can check.
We will continue
there's
checking.
people in there.
I'll eat my hat if anyone's living in that structure. The hat that I'm not wearing.
Have your daughter hold a hat at the front of the building. Mike Renner promised that he and his team will continue to check that area. Please, I'm glad you asked, Auntie. Things you read about, hear about, watch on social media may not be accurate. What a concept. So we want you to ask exactly what you did. So I appreciate that. We're going to wrap right here. We'll be here. Mahalo, everybody, and thank you again. We'll see you next Wednesday. Please drive home safely.